If you haven't caught on yet, something I really enjoy talking about is characters. How they fit into the world that they're in, whether it be a movie, an anime, or whatever. I just enjoy characters and how they work and how they tick and how they function. And so I decided, kind of spur of the moment, I just wanted to talk about this drawing that I did of my boy Jack. And I know we all love a character with a good tragic backstory, and where he has one for sure. I mean, he grew up in a country completely surrounded by the undead, left to fend for himself at a fairly young age. I prefer when a character's tragic backstory isn't their entire character. And I am very grateful for working with my GM to kind of help level out his tragedy versus who he is now. Now, unfortunately, I can't go super into spoilers because I don't know if any of my fellow players are watching this, but essentially, my boy at some point was left for dead, and by all means should have died. And it's something that he thinks about a little too often, but he was saved by a small family who just happened to live closer by than what anybody knew. And they took him in, and they said, "You're a grumpy Gus. Let's try to alleviate that a little bit. Let's get to the root of it." And so, with the assistance of the Kron family, Alia, Nim, who's being sketched right now, and Ivarian, who's on the far right, he was able to kind of rise above the tragedy of not just growing up in a harsh environment, but also what had just happened to him moments before meeting them. And where, yes, it is a lot of fun to roleplay as a really angsty character, I have had so much fun being able to sit back and kind of use his backstory, use his past as something to relate to others instead of something to turn the attention directly on him. As much as I feel like my other party members would greatly appreciate it if I just sat down and was like, here's the deal, guys, this is what this is about. But being able to use the backstory as a tool instead of as a character motivation is something I've really enjoyed with this character and something that I have enjoyed exploring since creating him. Jack is a character who struggles a lot with identity, with a sense of self, and more importantly, with a sense of purpose or belonging. Which is why I was super proud here recently in the campaign. Everything finally clicked, and he was willing to accept a hybrid of the last name of the Kron family. He is now proudly Jack Kraunkin, named partially after a dwarf that he helped save during the campaign. But this feels like the first step for him in figuring out exactly who and what he wants to be, and it's exciting to see the progress that he's made alongside the party. I put in some dandelions here because they represent Jack best. A tenacious little weed that's kind of overlooked, but it's bright and cheery and it sees the sun and it looks to it and it grows and it becomes what it is, regardless of the influence of others. And yet, you can cultivate a whole garden full of them, or even boil them for tea or add them to salad. There's multiple things that you can do with them. And it's that sort of versatility that I feel Jack exemplifies. And that's all thanks to the Kron family, a collection of NPCs that my GM Pink made that really just kind of amplify this character and build it up. So I encourage you to work with your GMs to find ways to work not just around your character's tragedy, but around their hope and their future.